Everybody, today I wanted to have a look at some retro collections, or indeed compilations, on the PlayStation 2. Basically how this works, I go through each release, tell you a few of the games on there, and I'm going to mention my favourite game from each one. So to start us off, I thought I'd start off with Midway Arcade Treasures. This is a collection of arcade games, mostly from the 1980s, or I think entirely from the 1980s. You got the likes of Rampage, Paperboy, Spy Hunter, Smash TV, Klax, Marble Madness, Gauntlet. Some really good games on here. You've also got the likes of, I can put it now, you've got some documentaries on there, some interviews with the developers. It's all a nice little title, this. I will say, of course, some of the games on here were not actually originally Midway games. They were Atari games, but I think at this time Midway owned the rights to some of them. I'm talking stuff like Paperboy and Gauntlet and Marble Madness, because obviously if you played the original release, they would be Atari. Yeah, really nice release, this one. I'd say my favourite title in here, probably Smash TV. Now, that was followed up by Midway Arcade Treasures 2. More of the same. This one tends to be a bit more from the 1990s rather than the 80s. You've got the likes of Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Not the first Mortal Kombat. I don't know why we didn't include that, but you got 2 and 3, which are probably our better games. You got the excellent Primal Rage. I do quite like Primal Rage. I know it's basically Mortal Kombat of dinosaurs, but it is a really fun little title. Pit Fighter, another fighting game. You got Narc, you got Total Carnage, Hard Driving, Rampage World Tour, which is a sequel to the first Rampage, which was in the first release. Yeah, this one, I probably play this more just because it's got Mortal Kombat and Primal Rage on it. But yeah, nice little release this. Again, favourite release, probably Primal Rage. And that was followed up with Midway Arcade Treasures 3. Now, this one is mostly, well, in fact, it's entirely racing games. You've got the likes of Hydro Thunder, excellent Hydro Thunder, Super Off-Road, Race Driving, Off-Road Thunder, San Francisco Rush. In fact, I think you got 2 Rush games. You got Rush 2049 and The Rock. You got Stun Runner. Yeah, if you like your arcade racing games, this one is a definite must. If you're not that into racing games, yeah, maybe avoid this one. But yeah, it's a nice little release, so I do quite enjoy this. Favourite game? Definitely got to be Hydro Thunder. Now we've done Midway, I thought I'd look at some Sega releases. We've got Sega Classics Collection. This is a series of old Sega arcade games, all in one release. Now, the problem with this one, I won't say it's a problem exactly, but I thought I'd mention it. It isn't the original arcade releases as such. It is basically 3D remakes, sort of using fairly basic early PS2 level graphics. Some of those have ended up quite good, like Fantasy Zone, Column, Space Harrier, stuff like that, still play quite well nicely. Golden Axe on here is a bit of a stinker. Monaco GP isn't great either. Even a port of Outrun is fine, but I'd much rather like Outrunners or Turbo Outrun if they weren't going to include the original. Yeah, it's a mixed bag. However, I would say the port of Virtual Racing on here is really good. Like, I'd argue it's probably the best home port. It's almost worth buying this just to get Virtual Racing. It is really that good. Really nice version of the arcade original. Plus you got a couple of extra cars and you got a couple of extra tracks as well. Really nice release. In fact, I actually done a playthrough ages ago on Virtual Racing on here. I like it that much. But yeah, mixed bag this one. And then you got Sega Mega Drive Collection. If you're in North America, you may know this as the Sega Genesis collection. Obviously, it was known as a Mega Drive in Europe. This is a collection of Mega Drive games. Obviously, you've got Sonic 1 and 2 on here. You've got Phantasy Star 2, 3 and 4. Golden Axe 1, 2 and 3. Vector Man 1 and 2. Echo, Altered Beast, Comic Zone. Oh, Shinobi 3. Really good game, Shinobi 3. Shadow Dance on here. Yeah, it's a nice little collection, this one. Of course, there have been a lot of Mega Drive collections over the years, because there's one on the PS3 and there's one on the PS4. Yeah, it's good. Be nice if Sega maybe had a different console. Like, I'd like to see like a Master System collection, or a Dreamcast collection, a Saturn collection, something a little bit different. But yeah, this is all pretty good. Yeah, much to say really. If you like Mega Drive games, you'll probably like it. And then we got Sonic Mega Collection Plus. So this is a series of Mega Drive Sonic games. You see what I did on there? Mega Collection, Mega Drive. You got Sonic 1, 2 and 3. You got Sonic and Knuckles, Sonic Spinball, Sonic 3D, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I think that's all of them. You also got a couple of extra Game Gear titles as well. Again, nice little bonus to have. Yeah, again, a lot of these are real classics, especially like 1, 2 and 3 and Knuckles are really, really good games on here. Everything plays quite nicely, or nice and smooth. Yeah, just a really nice title. Again, these have been re-released on practically everything since, but yeah, nice little game. And that was followed up by its sequel, Sonic Gems Collection. Again, handful of Sonic games on here. You have Sonic CD from the Mega CD, or Sega CD. You have Sonic the Fighters from the arcade, which is a one-on-one fighting game. And you've got Sonic R from the Saturn. And again, you've also got yourself a couple of old Game Gear titles as well. Yeah, this mixes it up. Obviously, you've got 2 3D titles as well with Fighters and Sonic R. Yeah, again, really nice release. I wouldn't say the games are quite as good as the first one, but it's definitely worth a look at. A favourite game on here? Probably Sonic R. I played a lot of that on the Saturn back in the day, and it's, I don't know, people really hate on it, but I actually find it quite an enjoyable game, Sonic R. But yeah, nice little release. And another Sega game. Here we got Virtual Cop Elite Edition. This is basic collection of Virtual Cop 1 and 2. These are basically on-rail shooters. Your typical sort of stuff. It's shoot with baddies, don't shoot hostages. Originally, obviously, it supported G-Con. Yeah, Namco's G-Con. You'd have a light gun. However, you can play this with just a controller if you don't have a gun. Yeah, really nice release. Both of these are sort of mid-90s arcade titles. Both games came out on the Saturn as well. It's, you know, it's not a sort of game that's going to keep you entertained for a long time, but they are really fun little games, you know what I mean? Again, I've done a playthrough on these two as well. But they're basically just play through the game, get a high score, see if you can beat a high score, that sort of thing. But yeah, nice little titles. Then we got Taito Legends. This is a compilation of Taito games. You've got the likes of Space Invaders, Bubble Bubble, Rastan, Rainbow Islands, New Zealand Story, Continental Circus, Formula 1 game. Yeah, really nice release this. You do have a few rail shooters or light gun games on here, like Operation Wolf, Operation Thunderbolt, which is a sequel, and Space Gun. Unfortunately, they do not support the light gun on here. I don't know why we didn't include it, because they're original light gun games in the arcade. But again, they're still playable, you just use a controller, but it would have been nice to have that option with this release. But yeah, again, quite old. Like, again, most of these are sort of 80s releases, but yeah, nice little title. And they also came out with Taito Legends 2. This one, slightly later, a bit more 90s, a lot of his releases. I would say this is probably a better one, or I prefer the games on here. You got quite a few shmups on this one as well. You got the likes of Darius Gaiden, G Darius, Rayforce, Grid Seeker, Metal Black, Space Invaders. I think Space Invaders DX and Space Invaders 95 on here. You've also got the excellent Elevator Action Returns on here, which is a really underrated game. If you've never played Elevator Action Returns, definitely worth looking at. Puzzle Bubble as well, or Bust a Move as it was known in the UK. Pop and Pop, Bubble Symphony, really some like nice 90s, early to mid 90s releases on here. The only thing that slightly puzzled me about these two Taito releases, they didn't include Chase HQ. And Chase HQ was huge back in the day, both in the arcades, and it got an absolute ton of home ports to basically everything going on the 8-bit, 16-bit era. And I don't know why we didn't put it in here, because they put Continental Circus, which is actually, I think, runs off the same engine. It's quite a similar looking game, but why they didn't include Chase HQ, I have no idea. But yeah, apart from that, still pretty good games. Next, you got Capcom Classics Collection. I'm afraid I don't own a box of this one, but never mind. This is obviously a series of Capcom arcade releases, mostly the CPS1 and CPS2. You've got the likes of Final Fight, Commando, Mercs, which is basically Commando's sequel, Bionic Commando, Forgotten Worlds, 1942, 1943, Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghosts and Goblins. You got the original Street Fighter 2, you've also got Championship Edition, and you've got Hyper Fighting as well, or Turbo Hyper Fighting, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, again, really nice, sort of late 80s, early 90s sort of release on this one. Yeah, really good little title, this. Again, most of these games have been re-released various times since, but yeah, nice little release. Favourite game on this? Probably Final Fight. And then we got the sequel, Capcom Classics 2, which for some reason I own a box for, but I don't own a box for the first one, but never mind. This one, more of the same really. You've got Strider, Captain Commando, 1941, Knights of Around, Eco Fighters, Mega Twins. You got the original Street Fighter 2, the 80s version. Sorry, rephrase that. The original Street Fighter, the 87 one, which, yeah, is kind of a bit rough to go back to, but it's, you know, it's still nice to have on it. And you've also got the excellent Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, which is probably, in my opinion, the definitive version of Street Fighter 2. Yeah, again, these have all been re-released, but it's nice to have this anyway. Favourite game here? Yeah, it's got to be Super Street Fighter 2. And you've also got Street Fighter Alpha Anthology. So this includes Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2 and 3. And you've also got two bonus games. You've got Alpha 2 Gold, which is basically just an enhanced version of Alpha 2. And you've got a game called Pocket Fighters, or Gem Fighters as it was known in some regions, which is basically, how can you put it now? It's a sort of very cartoony, cutesy fighting game, and it features a ton of Street Fighter characters. I think it features some Darkstalkers characters as well. But yeah, nice little release. Kind of a bit more light-hearted than a lot of fighting games, but I actually did have quite a lot of fun with it. My favourite game on here? Probably Alpha 3, though Alpha 2 is also really good as well. Then we got Gunbird Special Edition. This is basically Gunbird 1 and 2. If you never played Gunbird, they're basically 2D shmups. Pretty good games. This release, I don't know, I'm not sure there's something wrong with the emulation on it or something like that. I don't know, because I've played those games on other systems. Like the first Gunbird I had on the Saturn, the second Gunbird I had on the Dreamcast. They seem to play a lot better on there than they do on Hiss. This just felt a bit muddied, like, I don't know, it's hard to describe, but it just didn't feel quite right from playing it on other systems. Again, I say it's worth playing the Gunbird games, but it's probably better ways you can play them. Like, I know it got re-released on like PS4 and Xbox One, which probably might be the best way to play them. And finally, we got 1945, or Strikers 1945 as originally known, parts 1 and 2. Again, 2D shmups. Not to be confused with Capcom's 1942 series, though they are really similar, but this isn't made by Capcom, it's made by Taito. Yeah, again, I think the emulation's a little bit better on this one than Gunbird. They seem to clean it up a little bit. But again, it's a normal thing, you know what I mean? Pick up power, it shoots these huge bosses. It starts off with the idea of being in the Second World War, but there's like giant aliens and lasers and giant monsters, so obviously it's not in any way really based on any form of reality. But yeah, good release. Again, I think these are on PS4 and Xbox One as well if you want to play them. But yeah, alright title. So there you are. That is some retro collections on the PS2. Now I will say, of course, this isn't every single one. There are others, like I know Namco had one, SNK had one, Atari I think had one as well, and there's probably some more which I can't name off the top of my head. But yeah, really nice little release. Strange really, because I don't think of a PS2 as being an old system, but 25 years old this year, which does make me feel quite old. And I'm talking about retro collections for a console which is now probably retro. So, yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next time. And there you go.